Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Fisherman Huddle. I'm your boy, the Nature Boy here. Thank you guys for joining us today, and check out those winter baits. It's pretty much basic winter baits. Those are things that have worked for me for 5 years, so check those guys out. And so let's get started with the show. Other YouTube channels you can check out is Genius and Fluke Master. He's very good at teaching and breaking things down if you're a new beginner, or if you're already a bass fisherman. You check Genius and Fluke Master out. He's a great channel. He's very in depth with his teaching, so check him out. And also my boy John B, check him out. He travels around the world. He has a great show on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel, check him out, man. The videos are exciting, cutting edge, and fun. And also Tyler's Grill Fishing. He's a very good young man, and his teaching is very good and in depth, and he breaks things down. So check those guys out. Those are recommended other channels if you're trying to learn about bass fishing and teaching and get better with using your baits and lures. Check those guys out. Moving forward, we're going to talk a little bit about Mystery Tackle Box. It's sponsored by Carl's Bait and Tackle. It's a great company. They have a variety of baits and lures. You can check out MysteryTackleBox.com. Check those guys out. But I want to talk specifically about Mystery Tackle Box. There's a box that you can get every month, and they put different baits and different lures in this box. Or if you're a trout fisherman, a bass fisherman, you can get a box based upon what you fish. From a bass fisherman, so I get a box based on bass fishing. So in this box, they cram a bunch of great lures and great baits they think will work in the time and season. So during this winter season, I suggest checking out MysteryTackleBox.com, because you can get all these great baits and lures for a discount. If you're a new person, sometimes they have discounts for new people. But if you put in my link, you can get their first box $10 down. But like I said, they put great lures and great baits in the box and ship them out to you. And you can try different baits and different lures. It's worked good for me. So check out Mystery Tackle Box. Moving right along, let's talk a little bit about winter baits. Winter baits that are good, of course, is the worm creature baits, things that hit the bottom, and also swim baits. Moving them really slow, throwing the spoon works. Those different baits and different lures, they work really well during this time. Or if you're moving a lipless crankbait, that works really well. And flicking it off the bottom, dropping it at the bottom, give it a couple pops, let it drop to the bottom, a couple pops. But like I said, those are baits that work during this winter season. So just picking those things, especially your worms, man. You can't go wrong with your worms, your Zoom worms. I use Zoom worms. I've been using that for 5 years. Black Trick worms, Texas rig style, that works. Or Carolina rigging, something really slow during this winter season. Plus, it's a great thing if you're a new person, if you're a new beginner in bass fishing. This is the best time to do it, because you're using only a limited amount of baits during the season, like your trick worm, your creature baits, your swim baits, moving it slow, your lipless crank baits, bounce it off the ground using spoons. They're simple baits, you know, that you can catch fish on. So pick those up and start your winter bass fishing. So to continue the talk session I had the last time, I talked about my beginning of bass fishing, and just going through some things that helped me along the way. What really helped me was watching other people's shows and learning the baits, taking the time out and learning how to move these baits the right way. And I figured out my way of moving it versus the traditional way of using it. You know, I use the traditional way, but I found out, okay, these fish like this better. That's what bass fishing is all about. It's thinking outside the box. You know, if a fish is not hitting a certain way, you know, switch up your movement, your retrieve. If they're not hitting that, switch it to something they are hitting. Trying different things and learning what works, what doesn't work. And so it's the process of elimination, finding out what these fish want. The different ponds are different. There are certain places I fish that I know exactly what these fish want. I know I can use, 3 different lures, just one lure. If I'm just just want to go fishing or just hang out, I know that I can use a particular lure. There are some times where I just experiment. I bring the whole gun show. I always bring a Texas rig worm. I always do that because if they're not hitting the other stuff or the experimental things, they'll hit a trick worm. So that's my backup go-to bait, the Texas rig. Works very, very well. So in my beginning of fishing, I learned Texas rig, I learned that, and I learned, certain baits just work, like grubs and swim baits. Those things just work. But it comes down to, finding out, do these fish like this or these fish like that? There are certain baits that just work just universally, like a swim bait that works universally. Some places you go to, you might tear it up with a Colorado blade. There are certain things that just work for you. And I found out, there are certain baits that just work for me. So it's just a process of elimination and experimenting and just going out and trying new things. That helped me so much. I got into that rhythm of getting certain bait, watching videos on it, learning about the movement, and I go out and do it myself. Or I find out, this is the best way to move a certain bait and a certain lure. But I got really good at movement. So that's the main key. If you're a new bass fisherman, moving the baits and lures is the main key, and getting the color. The word bass fishermen use, you hear a lot, matching the hatch. If the worms are brown, that the fish, get brown worms. If these fish like frogs, you get a lot of frogs around the surroundings. Buy some frogs, throw the frogs. They like top water, bugs on the water. Get a top water. You just find out, look around, just evaluate your surroundings and finding out what these fish like. And also different experiments. I experimented. I used basic groundwork lures that work, and I experimented, and I got a lot of success, like Colorado blade. It works better in big open water for me, Colorado blade does, than just ponds. I think it's just because lakes are big and they see a lot of different things, and a lot of fish are moving so quick, and they're just so used to the flash, and different baits, they're gonna hit it. And it's always been big fish hit the Colorado blade. I caught a 3-pound spotted bass. 3 pounds, that's the size of a doggone largemouth. That's very, very rare for me, to catch a spotted bass that big. And it was like open water, like a huge river. So it's all about testing and trying different things. The texture, the color, the time of the day. Like a Texas rig worm, you can throw that just basically any time of the day, because even after the fish finish feeding, they want a little snack. I caught a 5-pounder on a Texas rig worm. Fish was already full, it's filled up to the top, 5 pounds. It's a 5-pounder largemouth. This was like after, like 12. So, it's basically finding out what these fish want, the movement, the color, the texture, and asking other fishermen, what are you throwing today? Just asking around what each fish like, and also experimenting. So this has helped me get to where I am today. It's helped me catch a lot of fish. I use the groundwork baits that work, like a Texas rig worm or a swim bait, those certain things that just work, that you're gonna catch fish on. That's how I fish. And then I experiment. I get like 2 different lures to experiment and stuff like that. But you want to catch a lot of fish, stick to the groundwork stuff that works for you. Especially if you fish that place a lot, stick to that, or kind of switch it up a little bit. If you fish there a whole bunch, fish want to see something different color, different bait, different lure, something they've never seen before. Throw those things. Especially drop shot. You don't hear too much about, and especially in North Carolina, drop shot. You hear Texas rig, but you don't hear too much about drop shot. So that works a lot, just switching things up. And like I said, get familiar with the baits and the lures and different companies and different brands and different styles. I go for realism. So that's helped me a lot within my bass fishing experience. So, and what else? And just learning the area, man. Just if I fish a certain place probably 4 times before I get up out of there. It's grinding it out and learning what these fish want. But if you're fishing in a place like a lake or place, you're gonna be there for about 2 weeks. It takes 3 goes to find a place, 3 days to find a good place in a lake or something. If it's a small lake, less time. If it's just fishing rocks, if everything's rocky, it won't take that long. But just find those things that work for you. And what else? I think that's about it. What is about it on my time? I don't want to eat up the time too much. So those are the things that work. So that includes Fisherman Huddle, where we just talk about bass fishing. I do a little teaching and talk about different baits and different lures. If you're a new beginner, if you don't want to walk the aisles and spend so much time, check out KVD Strike King. They have great baits, great lures. If you want to get jerk baits, if you heard people talk about jerk baits, if you're on the lake, they're good with jerk baits, soft plastic, hard plastics, Colorado blades. I use their Colorado blades a lot. I use their swim bait, Perfect Plastic Clear Plastic Swim Bait by KVD Strike King. If you go to Dick's Sporting Goods or Bass Pro Shops and Walmart, I would suggest go to Dick's Sporting Goods, go to Bass Pro Shops. They can show you around and different stuff like that. But I use the Colorado blade. I just use the silver Colorado, more darker color. The silver at the top and the touch of gray and black, the darker. And then I also use the yellow and blue and yellow, blue, white mix with the trailer. I put a trailer on. That's the KVD Perfect Plastic trailer. I put that on as a big presentation. That works on big open water. So check out KVD Strike King, man. If you're a new bass fisherman, talk to people at Bass Pro Shops. If you want to go for worms, it's great. They have great baits and great lures for the winter season. So check those guys out. And that concludes today at Fisherman Huddle. If you like what you've heard, subscribe, get more videos, and get the latest videos. And also check out that link for Mystery Tackle Box. Get $10 off your first box. And so until next time, guys, I will see you again at Fisherman Huddle. Your boy, the Nature Boy.
Don't wake me, I'm not dreaming.